Yes, that's very special. Good morning to everybody. Good afternoon for those in different corners of the globe. Thank you very much for being here as we commence this discussion between fan supporter groups. A first request to everybody that has joined, please mute your microphones. Again, a reminder to everybody to mute your microphones until you are identified or called upon. That would be greatly appreciated. All right. Thank you very much to everybody. As we said earlier, it's a very exciting process to have supporters groups get involved. And this morning, we're going to have a bit of an interaction with three of them in particular. Firstly, we want to pay a special welcome to those members of the media that is here. Also, our General Secretary, Mr. Dennis Chung, is here as well, and as well as the marketing arm of our federation, 876 Stream, Conrad Matheson, Ewan Campbell. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being here. It's greatly appreciated. And let me go into the introductions of those individuals that you'll hear from shortly. From the Reggae Boyz Supporters Club, we have Mr. Kyle Wallace. Welcome, Kyle, for being here. From the Reggae Football Fans Club, we have Errol Walters and Lewis Grant. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being here. And last but certainly by no means least, from the Reggae Boyz community, Adrian Allen and Huntley Dixon. So thank you very much, gentlemen, for being here. But first, we want to have a few opening remarks from our General Secretary, Mr. Dennis Chung, to speak about this initiative, and then we'll hear from the gentleman from the supporters group. So, Mr. Chung, the floor is all yours now.
Yeah, thank you, Simon. Want to welcome everyone from the media, of course, and also the three gentlemen from the supporters group. You notice it's all gentlemen now, so when the woman comes in, then everything will change. She'll take over everything, you know. But no, certainly it's an exciting time because these three gentlemen have, on their own initiative, come to us and said, we want to support the football teams. Right now it's the boys, to push the whole thing with the game. And what we've realized also is that most of the tickets that we've sold so far is coming from actually US addresses. So we know that they're pushing it, and we're hoping that Jamaicans will buy tickets because we don't want all of it to be sold overseas. And then you hear, oh, we're here and we can't see the game. But certainly, we want to welcome this partnership because this is a way for us now to importantly reach our fan base. We want to ensure that everyone is involved. As you see, at the last two games, we had over 17,000 people in attendance. And, that for us is very important because it's not just about playing football. We want to get everybody involved, all Jamaica involved. I know that we're at the quarterfinal stage. We want to ensure that we are there in our numbers to support the boys because we have to make it past the mighty USA, which after we finish with them, they're not going to be so mighty, So we welcome that. Certainly, I want to thank 876 Stream, Conrad and Yuan for also working with this initiative and being the lead persons marked in the game. I'm seeing the billboards up now, Yuan, so that's good, and they're bigger than they were before. So that is even better, So we look forward to it. So at this time, we can invite the various persons from the groups to talk, Simon, and just give us their perspective, and then we can invite the media to ask some questions.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Mr. Chung. And as everybody would have been aware, the day of qualification for 98 was November 16, 1997. And we faced the United States on November 14. So 2 days shy of the 27-year anniversary. So another nugget for us to remember as well, as we're closely on the anniversary date as well of that qualification. So firstly, let's hear from Mr. Errol Walters from the Reggae Football Fans Club, who will give some opening remarks of this initiative and also as well the plans moving forward, not only on the island, but in the diaspora as well. Errol?
Good morning. Could you also unmute Mr. Louis Grant because we're both representative of the reggae football fans. So, Louis, I see you there. Yeah. So, thank you so much for having us. Yeah, it's an honor and a pleasure to be trying serving our country in this way, helping in any way. Simon, when you mentioned the November 14th, the game in Washington, I remember I was there, and that kind of set things off because against better advice, I flew to the game, and when I got back, they fired me. But it changed my life forever. So I'm a lifelong supporter of the Reggae Boyz, football in general, and what we're trying to do, and Lou will tell you more about that, is create an opportunity for fans in the diaspora that we use our collective bargaining power to negotiate to go to the games. Because there are times when I'm in London and I want to go to a game and I had nobody to travel with. So it was always my dream to create something that we had a database that we say, listen, who's going to the game from where? And what we did in England, we organized coaches from London going all the way up to Manchester and so forth. So let me let Louis say some other stuff. Louis?
Thank you, Earl. Thank you, gentlemen, Jensei. Yeah, so essentially we are, and this was birthed out of, and Earl alluded to it, a desire to be the proverbial 12th man for our football teams, and probably more so with the second iteration of the historic trip to the World Cup, and we as diasporans here in the United States think that it's only right that we play our part in drumming up support as far as leveraging, air travel, accommodation, and support. We've been in touch, for example, with the game on November 18 in St. Louis with US Soccer. We have kind of gotten a section that we can have all or most of our supporters concentrated to create that office vibe for games in the United States. In my experience, we've gone to games at Red Bull Stadium in my area here, or and you'd see our supporters, our flag, all sparsely across the various stadiums, and we're of the opinion that if we were more concentrated in one section, then it bodes well, or it's a better look and a better feel for our team. So not limited to, but certainly probably led by our Reggae Boyz. The fans club is supportive of all our nation's football teams, both youth and or elite teams, and we're hoping that especially the intention is to get all the support that we can and form collaborative and strategic partnerships with like-minded and shared individuals of like minds to lift our teams and get us to certainly the World Cup and all the other competitions through 2020. We've already been in touch mostly through Errol with 876 Stream, of course, the supporters club who are also located here, and other teams, and we're again looking forward to getting our teams. And thankfully, the support of you, JFF, we had the good fortune of having a very productive meeting. Thank you again, Dennis. And we met with Sir Roy Simpson, team's manager, as well as TD Wendell Downswell. And then congrats again to him, who was conferred with great honor on Heroes Day, and was one of my childhood heroes of the game in Jamaica. And yeah, so that's essentially what we're about, and we're all set for all the good things that are to happen, to come in short order. Thanks again for having us.
So just quickly chime in, and we're working closely with Kyle and Huntley because we're all one supporters group, just doing different things, supporting the Jamaica Football Federation in any way which we can. So Kyle and I have met, Huntley and I have spoken. So, we're collectively working, to try and, reach the 3 million in the diaspora outside of Jamaica. So, it's great that it's just not one supporters club, but many. And as long as the Jamaica Football Federation endorses us, then we're willing to work with each and everyone.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Grant and Mr. Walters. Much appreciated there. And as you heard from both gentlemen, in terms of the action that takes place in the United States, there's certainly a lot for Jamaica to look forward to when you bear in mind the Nations League next in this month in particular, next year with the Nations League finals and the Gold Cup in the summer, and of course 2026 when you factor in the World Cup as well. So a lot of action in North America over the next 2.5 years or so. So let's now have on Huntley Dixon from the Reggae Boyz community, who will also share some remarks. And then after we'll hear from Wallace.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, so good morning, gentlemen. Okay, so my name is Huntley Dixon. I am the chairman of the Reggae Boyz community, something that I've just stumbled on me since March of this year. So I'm learning on the job, and my background is in entertainment. But what I'm realizing, the similar thing, the football is kind of similar to entertainment as far as marketing. So, what I've done so far is that between the three last home games, my organization donated over 700 tickets, and we provided a marching band for the first two games along with Mr. Kyle. And as far as going forward, whatever comes, I can come up with something to go forward. If I tell you I have a great plan in mind, I can't say, but I am very at this. I can think of things at the moment and figure out a way to move forward. So that's just pretty much me in a nutshell.
All right, thank you very much. Let's now hear from Kyle Wallace of the Reggae Boyz Supporters Club. Kyle.
Hello, gentlemen. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Kyle.
Okay, good. Well, I'd like to say kudos to whoever came up with this idea to have this meeting. I'm glad to see a meeting of the minds as to how we can move the Reggae Boyz, Reggae Girls product forward. So, kudos to whoever came up with this initiative. Now, the Reggae Boyz Supporters Club background started from 1998, 1997 when they qualified. Back then I was a kid, I'm in New York. So we have over 20 years of being a part of the support for the Reggae Boyz. So that's a good thing. So the advent of YouTube came along basically, and this basically opened up a lot of avenues for us to explore possibilities of support. For the past year, we have been supporting both the boys and girls in the stadium with our marching band. We have been in the band, we have been in the stadium when it's empty for the girls and when it's empty for the boys. So we're happy to see the work that 876 and the GFF have done in basically bringing the product along. I was down there for the game before this one, and I was very, very pleased to see the entertainment, that was implemented. Like everybody else, we have plans. My plan is basically to bring a Madison Square Gardens atmosphere to the stadium, where people not only come to watch the football game, but they come for the family value of entertainment. So I have plans in place, which I have discussed with 876, Simon, Military Guna, Mr. Chung. And then, we hope to implement them to basically partner with all of the clubs, all of the fans, supporters club, to basically move this forward. So again, we are here to support each other. Rising tide rises all ships, not just one. So, we hope to be a part of it, and we hope to pull whoever we can along in the same direction to keep this product moving forward.
Thank you very much, Kyle. Much appreciated there. This is now the opportunity for members of the media to pose questions if you have, whether it's to Kyle, to Errol, to Louis, to Huntley. See, Siobhan Peart, his hand is up, and then we'll hear from Jason Walker. So, Siobhan, you can open the floor. You may proceed.
Yeah, hi, good morning, everyone. Apologies for not having my camera on. I'm a bit under the weather at the moment. I was one of the initial founders of the Reggae Boyz community. Just to speak more on what Mr. Huntley had mentioned, in regards to the reason as to why we came about, we noticed that before that the supports for the games weren't as what we would have wanted. So what we came together as a group of fans. We decided to create the community. And one thing I noticed is just that we had been missing out on a lot of youth fans. And if we know within the future, those youth fans would end up being the main fans that we would need in the future. So we, as what Mr. Dixon mentioned, that we started donating tickets to students, respective footballers from respective communities. We started helping out the inner cities and working along with Kyle, Mr. Wallace, bless up. We haven't spoken for a while. I think that what we have done is we have brought back the footballing culture back into our youths. It's great that when you look at the games and you see the amount of persons coming in now, you have to give 876 Stream their credit. You have to give everybody the credit for having those fans back into the stadium. And I personally just want to say I'm truly appreciative to everybody who has done what they've done so far, so that we can build the culture that we've done so far, and we can hope that it can get better going forward.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Siobhan. Really appreciate your remarks. Jason Walker, you may unmute and ask your question.
Good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing? This is mine is going to be mainly statements, not necessarily a question. Number one, I'm Jason Walker. I'm with J Walker Buzz, WRFG Radio, first media houses between Georgia and Florida. The first statement I'd like to say is big respect for Simon Preston, because of Simon, we are getting continuous information from the JFF, which never used to happen. So big respect. So that tells the people, which has actually evolved into people doing events around Reggae Boyz or Reggae Girls playing, watch parties, all these things, bringing the community together. Because we now have it in the media, we're talking about the Reggae Boyz, Reggae Girls, so we're getting the information. So I want to say big respect, Simon Preston. And yeah, just let you know, in South Florida, Jamaica men of Florida, in conjunction with the consulate, puts on parties around any Reggae Boy, Reggae Girl event ever since it started. And in Atlanta, Georgia, it's the Atlanta Jamaican Association that puts on. So it's building a whole new community, so on and so forth. So I guess if there is a question or just an encouragement, keep this going. Keep this, what Simon has done to reach out to us so that the diaspora knows what's happening. And two, let's take advantage of what the diaspora is doing and see if we can plug into what the JFF is doing. I know Adidas is now sponsoring you guys. So the fact that you have big events happening organically, I know for sure in Florida and in Georgia, is a great opportunity to get the big companies to come outside with you guys and put a big splash around Reggae Boyz or Reggae Girls. And I know Jamaican-run companies that are in the US would be very interested in connecting with that. So I suggest people take advantage of that. I guess that's it.
All right. Thank you very much, Jason. Much appreciated there. Appreciate the kind words. Matthew McAnuff-Jones, you can go ahead.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
I'm Matthew McAnuff-Jones. I'm an attorney and also a journalist at McAnuff Sports. I have a question for the heads of the different supporter groups. And also, before I ask a question, I'd just like to add that I'm 27, so I'm a bit younger, but the last two games that we've had, I think that's the biggest crowd we've had since the Gold Cup was in Jamaica. And I want to give kudos to Simon and the 876 Stream, because I can see what they're doing in terms of the marketing. I think that it's proven successful. Now, to the different heads of the supporter groups. So I was about one when we qualified for the World Cup. And I do know that, I hear stories from my uncles and, the older generation in my family talking about how the stadium used to be full. You used to have to reach 3 hours before.
Matthew, you don't have to age all of us like that.
Yes. I hear stories about the stadium used to be full. I used to have to reach 2-3 hours before. People used to be climbing. So I just want to know, in terms of prior to that qualifying campaign, how was the support and what would you guys attribute to the drop in support in recent times or, subsequent to the World Cup? And what do you guys think that we can be doing to try at least to get near to the support in 1997?
Let me answer that one for you, Matthew. Just from our perspective, I was around in 98. I actually used to go to every single game, right? And before that, we didn't really have the sort of support. We had support when like big teams came. So like when Johnny Barnes came and the Brazil under-19 came, and so a lot of people would go. Understand also that during that time, we didn't have as much competition as now in terms of things to do, right? So you had a game to go, and there was really not much happening at the time. But 98, certainly, I think that because we were winning, I think that Jamaicans like to win. And we did carry that sort of vibe that I see happening now. So as one person, Alan Lewis, who was a big supporter at the time, said to me, when he went to the game against Cuba, he felt like 98 again. Right? So that was the sort of feeling that we had. Subsequent to that, I mean, I will admit, up until recently, there was a lot of blunders that were made by the JFF, right? A lot of things went downhill. We had a lot of travel issues. There's a lot of things to talk about, and we weren't winning. You know what I mean? And the truth is that when people pay their money, they want to see a team. If you're not even winning, that you're trying, right? So I think that the lapse in support would have had to do with that. And I think that certainly within the football community itself, there was not that unity that was there before. So there's a lot of mudslinging and things happening. But, we want to think that that is behind us. From a JFF point of view, not just on the field, but administratively, we're doing much better. We expect that by the end of the year, we'll totally eliminate the deficit that was there. We're up to date with our audited financials. We have a tax compliance certificate from last year. We would have the accountants among us. We expect to have the first quarter next year a current ratio of 1-to-1, right, which is significant. We don't have any travel issues, as you see, right? And that for me is very important. And the staff here is doing a tremendous job. I see you congratulate Simon, which is good. I mean, Simon, as we all know, is a walking encyclopedia, right, when it comes to sports. So that's from my perspective, Matthew, is from the JFF perspective. I don't know what the heads of the support clubs like Errol. I mean, Errol is an oldster like me, so Errol knows about those things. Right, Errol.
So Matthew, you aged us badly, but listen, like Dennis said, so because I lived in England, so if you can imagine the birth of kind of football and the Reggae Boyz came from England, because that's when Captain Burrow came over and started targeting the English players, and that kind of created a vibrancy around the football. But as Dennis said, if the team is not winning, fans can. But I'm sure what Kyle, Huntley, Louis, and myself will be doing is also kind of just engaging the fan base. Because you see, whereas in Jamaica, the tendency is to go if it's winning. Us in the diaspora, if there are two mosquitoes from Jamaica competing, we'll turn up. We just need to have that information. And so what the supporters clubs will do is work with Simon to get that information out, accessible to tickets. So when Louis said they're leveraging like tickets, because what we did immediately is we wrote to US Soccer and we said, listen, we're going to the game. Can you seat us in a specific area? And that's what they did. And we were able to do that because the JFFS through Dennis and co have empowered us to speak. So by asking for those things, they responded. But the sad part about it is that they only allocated 200 seats, not because they don't want to allocate more, because they know the turnout is so low. But we're hoping by 2025, we're getting 5,000 seats. because we know that the momentum will build. And us in the diaspora, we like supporting Jamaica. It's just that we like being coordinated and knowing that we have someone who we can go with. So it's a new dawning, and I'm excited about this. So listen, when your generation takes over, you'll be getting a nice fan club to manage. All right, so just hang in there.
Let me just make a quick comment on how the diaspora dealt with World Cup '98. I was in New York back then. I was in college, and basically how we found out about the games. Well, how I found out about the games was through a Panamanian guy of Jamaican descent, and he would tell me that, Kyle, if you want to watch the games, there are Spanish clubs, Spanish bars that were televising the clubs from their sports bars, the games from their sports bars. So we would all meet there at these Spanish sports bars to watch the games, and we were outnumbered, basically like 100 to 1. So that's how we supported the boys back in those days. And based on the information, we would meet, and we would get together as a group to basically support the boys. And this leads me to the opportunity that we have with social media. It's a perfect opportunity for us in the diaspora to basically leverage that to basically organize tickets, support, merchandise, and push the boys and girls forward. So, our plan is to basically link the diaspora, because I was basically delegated by Erwin Clear from Team Jamaica Bickle, which you all know. He keeps the functions for the boys and girls teams at Penn Relays to basically build a bridge between the JFF and the diaspora to basically get us connected and moving, our efforts forward. So, that is something that we should definitely, push forward on.
All right, Huntley, anything you wanted to add to what Kyle and Errol said? Huntley, you're muted.
I can hear you.
Huntley, you're muted. Unmute if here's something you'd want to add.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so as far as the crowd drop off in Jamaica, I think it's a connection with the common man, right? So for anything to be sold, the people that's in the industry alone cannot be the only one that's interested in it. So what usually happened in '98, flag used to, because I lived in Jamaica in '98, and as a young man, I see flags everywhere. If people that not into football was talking about the game. And I think if we gradually bring back that, I have no doubt in my mind it can happen. Because, for example, as Mr. Pirate said, in March, we had a discussion with some people about bringing people to the stadium, and they laugh at me and Mr. Pirate and say that it can't happen. And, we come up with an unorthodox method and make things happen, So as far as to bring back that vibes, I have no doubt if we just think of other ways of doing it, it can happen again.
And let me just back up what Huntley has said. There's this argument that you have to be winning to bring people in the stadium isn't validated by what we see here in the States. The New York Knicks has not won a championship in how many decades? Yet Madison Square Gardens is always full. The stadium is our Madison Square Gardens. That's how we should approach it. So basically what they do at MSG is they have an entertainment factor to basically bring people into the stadium, giveaways, little games for boys and girls. They make it a fun atmosphere. People go there just to date, look girls, socialize, drink, have a good time. So that's my idea. That's my concept to basically get people back into the stadium and keep them going.
All right. Thanks very much, Kyle. Naranda Brown, Halftime TV. You can unmute and share your remark or question. Go right ahead.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I hope and trust everyone had a productive weekend. As Simon mentioned, Naranda Brown from Halftime TV. I have a background in communications. I also am pursuing a master's in industrial relations. But aside from that, I have a YouTube channel as well that has roughly 25,000 subscribers. And I operate outside of Jamaica. So myself, as well as Ryan LFC, both of us are in Canada. So I have a couple of questions in relation to that. What are the considerations being put in place for Canada? And the group has alluded to the United States on a number of occasions, but it's the Floridas and New Yorks, etc., which is good. And I know huge Jamaican population residing in those areas, but also in Canada, in Toronto in particular, we have roughly 500,000 Jamaicans easily residing here, and a lot of whom are Reggae Boyz fans. And if you're paying attention to the Ryan LFC lives and the Halftime TV lives, whenever we talk about the Reggae Boyz, and even when they come to Canada, we see the folks in the stands, we see them coming out supporting, waiting for the opportunity to shake, whether it's the president's hand or to say hi to the players, etc. So my first question is, what's being considered, or is there a hub for Canada in the plan that you currently have, considering as well that the World Cup is happening in North America, not just the United States, right? It's Canada is included. Secondly, what would be, in an ideal world, what kind of support, what are the factors or what are the facets that the Jamaica Football Federation can support your organization in getting you to the space where you want to be? In essence, we've heard all the good things, what the plans are, we've heard what the intentions are, etc. But how do you get there? How do you foresee the Jamaica Football Federation supporting you get into that space? Because we know, and we're not going to beat around the bushes, the Jamaica Football Federation, they are an ally, right? And we need their help to get to the space where we can have 5,000 or 10,000 fans locking off an entire side of the stadium, where it's black, green, and gold, and we're beating drums and we're blowing trumpets and that sort of thing, and creating that sort of community there. So how can the Jamaica Football Federation get you to that space? So those are the two questions that I have for now. And then I have a couple other questions, but I'm just going to leave it there because I don't want the answers to get lost. And, so I want us to get proper answers for those two. And then we can move on to the rest of the questions that I have.
Simon, if I can just jump in here.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Conrad.
All right. So similarly to what you see Errol doing in terms of the tickets, we for the numbers to make sense, our thought process is Conrad from 876. The aim of it is that everybody is supporting the same initiative. So if Errol has now booked out 200 seats, now that 200 seats is for all supporters in some ways, Canada, USA, wherever is available, because we want everybody to sit in the same place. So now the JFF social media now, it will be pushing that so that other persons who are interested can support that venture, even though it's being led by Errol because that's his personal initiative. We are partnering with him to support everybody, if you understand the point. So that will be something that we'll be working towards. You will see in the JFF page pushing that initiative a lot to make sure that other persons outside of maybe Errol's personal or his support group, everybody else can be aware that, hey, we are in section 100 and something. Right? So that will be one. So one will be trying to make sure that this support group, all the support groups, they have different initiatives and objectives, but we'll be trying to share the information. So depending on which one works for you, then you'll be supported. So that's one of the clear initiatives that we'll be doing. Certainly we'll have to maybe get a Canada support group. So maybe like Errol, maybe his focus is the United States, maybe your team could focus on a similar initiative in Canada to bring to galvanize and organize people in Canada to come to games. That's not impossible as well, because no one group can do everything, and that's a big initiative Mr. Chung wanted. Make sure that everybody is touched and everybody is reached. So we are now saying, if you can get the Canada group, or if there are a group where you can come together to get the Canada people together, we'll be willing to have the conversation and share notes so that it's very organized for them.
Can I jump in real quick? Okay, so let as far as the Canada concern, right? This is what I think can work. Okay, so we have to do a thing called like a trickle-down effect, right? So we have to find like a figurehead in Canada that's highly respected, by the Jamaican population. And we can do it from here, right? All we got to do is channel things through him, and we'll be surprised to see what we can do. I know it can be done without a doubt. Right, so probably after MTV, probably that's where you can come in, Andy, by just even connect me with the person over there, that's willing, and by connecting with us, I feel we can motivate people over there.
Add to that. So, Narando, so you asked a very valid question. So, listen, what we've seen with this administration, because what we've tended to do in the past is being very critical. I've been very critical of Dennis and stuff. And funny, Dennis and I went to school together. He was a year junior to me, But I have to admit the progress that I've seen, and I've been following this football forever. And the progress and what I've seen them doing, and just my initial interaction with Simon, it's leaps and bounds, and I'm so excited about stuff. So when we talk about Canada, Mexico, because that's where the games are going to be in the United States, what we're doing, and we're working with Carl and Huntley to build a database. So we will capture people from England, anywhere in the diaspora, anywhere around the world. We will capture it, and it will be by zip code, by country, by area, and then we'll reach out to people. So you don't necessarily have to be in Canada or anywhere to reach to them. And as you know, the diaspora is very connected, because as you know, the diaspora conferences that I've attended in the past, which is hosted by the governments of the day, it brings in all the diaspora leaders. So it's very easy to connect with those. But we're now working with Conrad and the JFF to understand, how the information, because it's not a matter of just putting out information. It's organized information that is coming from a central point. That's there. So if you notice, when we negotiated with US Soccer for the game, we spoke with Simon and Dennis, and they put out a press release and a banner saying we are now situated in section 149. So working with Carl and Huntley, we'll continuously doing that. So we will get to Canada, and we'll definitely have the Canadian crowds turning out, and we will be in Canada to support as well. So yeah, listen, in a nutshell, what I'm saying is that this administration are doing amazing stuff. When they're not doing stuff, we'll criticize. But right now, they're doing amazing stuff, and we're supporting them, and kudos to them and Dennis and your team for all the stuff you're doing, because it's really amazing. For the years that I've been following football, this is the most organized I've ever seen of the JFFF.
Yeah, thank you. Let me just, Narando, one of the things that you guys can do, we've introduced these three gentlemen, have them on your program, pull them in, pull 8716 on the program to talk about these things, because we need to talk about these positive things. You know what I mean? I think that's important, so that other people are talking about it, not just me. I try to take a sabbatical now from all of those discussions. So to have the people on, out there talking about these things.
Let me just answer a question. Narando, I made a proposal to the JFF on 876 that we have a vlogger tent in the stadium where they could basically live stream pre-game activities, interview the fans, interview the vloggers themselves, interview any parties and have a little entertainment thing going on back there. So I was pitching it to them that that's something that they could use to attract sponsors from overseas and and back home, to basically connect that link between the diaspora and back home, to keep us active. So that's a pitch that I'm trying to push to the JFF to get off the ground. We are willing to invest in the infrastructure. In fact, it is down there sitting down. So I'm waiting to hear back from them if it can be done. So I believe that would be key in linking the diaspora, home and abroad, England, Canada, the USA.
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant idea too. And I'll constantly go back to when the Reggae Boyz came here to Canada, and I submitted for accreditation, and what I had to do as the sole media entity there that was Jamaican, I had to rope in Ryan LFC as well, go through the entire process for him so he could be there as well. So we were represented. So I think opportunities like that and putting stuff in place like that gives the diaspora an opportunity to be heard and to be seen as well. And because if fans are at home and they're seeing all these folks in the stands, they want to be there as well. And I think one I don't remember who mentioned it a little bit earlier about the Madison State Gardens.
Me.
There you go. There you go. And I think the key word that you left out, because you spoke about the entertainment and all of that, and in a nutshell, the experience, right? And I think we so often ignore that, because when you go to, here in Toronto, when you go to a basketball game, the Raptors, they've won one championship. We haven't seen them win anymore.
Right.
But we go there, they lose most times, but you get an experience, right? It's an experience. And I think that's where we want to get it back to, where when you go to the National Stadium, even if the game ends in a draw, you leave feeling as if you experienced something magical, right? So, and again, all these facets, they contribute to getting it back to that space. So I think the follow-up answers that the group provided kind of answered my follow-up questions. So I'll leave it at that for now. And I'll be in touch. I'll be in the comments and in the chat, right?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Renardo, very much so. Before we get on to Cronky, as you know, Renardo, it could be sooner rather than later, because a couple of matches in the Gold Cup next year will be in Vancouver. So there's a strong possibility. So we'll see what the near future brings, because Vancouver is a host venue for the Gold Cup next summer. Bertram, Cronky, you may proceed.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so first of all, I am extremely pleased that we're doing this, right? I've been sort of begging for initiatives such as these to bring us as a people together. And I think they can be a catalyst for other things for us as Jamaicans. But a couple of things, actually, in terms of statements. One is, I wonder, and people are going to say, here goes Cranky again. I wonder if it's better to have one supporters group with branches versus disparate 3 supporters group. And I understand people have started a supporters group, I understand how power, where power resides. But I think if we want to be truly effective, you have to be really coordinated. You have to be really organized. And what you don't want to have is 3 different, 4 different, 5 different groups all doing different things with different agendas. How do you get that consistency? How you get that organization? How you get that synergies between all these groups? That's one question. Secondly, I know we're using basketball as the analogy to provide a perspective as to how we think it could work. I remember going to Jamaica versus Guatemala, the friendly game here. And when you went to that game, it's a family experience. The Guatemalans came out of the family, the kids, the wives, the girlfriends, the moms, the grandmothers. We took pictures with them. I went with Neo.
Yep.
And that's what I'm hoping that we can build as a group in forums such as these. And I'm also pleased, and I hope this is the case, that when the JFF think about stakeholders, it's not just people who are locally stakeholders. With this extended reach, I'm hoping that it expanded and we're now an inclusive global people versus disparate pieces, right? So if we can also, the mechanism to reach out, we got to think through what that entails. I know social media is a good platform, but where are people residing? Are they in the churches? Where are they? And how do we bring people together as a collective body? Because I can tell you, I'm going to St. Louis. It's hard. I don't like to fly. I'm driving to St. Louis. Trust me, the whole distance, like 20-something hours, right? For me, personally, going there. It's hard in the US when you're in St. Louis and you're in New York, you're in Florida, you're in LA to get to games. But if you have bodies together and you have transportation you bring together and you go as a group, and it's almost, as someone would say, it's not entertainment, but it's a family experience and outing. You take buses, or some may want to fly. And when you go there, you have instances where you're in the parking lot and you're having barbecues. As Simon says, going to be a restaurant in St. Louis. We're going to meet up. That experience will allow people to want to, it doesn't become just a football experience anymore, no. It's a holistic experience for the family. You can enjoy as a family, as a people, and it makes it all the better. And the support will be much more sustainable. So my hope is that as we go through and think about this, and as we're evolving as a group trying to get this done, we don't set ourselves in just one idea. We're open to ideas to make this work as effectively as possible. That's all I got to say.
Okay. Errol, I see your hand raised. Is it that you wanted to respond to Cronky?
I do. So Bertram, in response to your question in terms of the multi groups. So in an ideal world, you'd have one group. You know, when I met with Dennis and the Jamaica Football Federation, Dennis said, "Oh, listen, you guys out there are doing your stuff, and here's the thing, Bertram. It's an evolution. At some point, we might all merge, but at the moment, you know, remember, here we are trying to do something that's not really been done in terms of galvanizing fans from all over the world. But the one thing that we are respectful of each other. We also acknowledge that we don't do anything without the Jamaica Football Federation understanding what we're doing, and so give it time, you know. So you know, it's better so many people trying to do something than nobody doing anything at all. And then, as I said earlier on, what we do is that we speak with Simon. So we don't just put out information. You know, everything that we do, we coordinate with Simon and say this is what we want to do. And if we need a sign off from the general secretary, we get that as well. And that shows discipline from us, because a lot of times we say Black people can't work together. That's actually not true. You know, we can work together. So I wanted this fan club purely because I want to go to the games. When I spoke to Kyle and Huntley, they do entertainment and stuff. You know, I just want to find 100. Listen, I'm retired. I want to find 100 guys who want to. I want to drive to Missouri for the game on the 18th. Louis said he's not driving. If I had 5 guys, we would drive, because that's the adventure for me, and that's what I want. When the World Cup comes here, I want to. You know, I've just moved to the United States. I want to see the United States. I want to see Canada. I want to see Mexico, and I want to get a coach at RV, and I want to drive. And that's why I came to Dennis and said we wanted this fan club, because I want to say to guys, listen, there's 100. When I was in England, we all used to meet at the M1 at the bottom of a service station, and there were 15, 20 coaches leaving from the Watford Gap, going up to Manchester. You know, and that's what we did in England. And there's no reason why we can't do that in the United States. It just takes a little bit. And now we have better tools. We have social media. We have so many tools to our advantage. So don't worry about the number of groups. None of the groups that are operating are doing so in independence or isolation. We all work with Dennis and Simon and 876 Stream, and we are all disciplined, responsible, grown men that are all wanting the best for our country and for our national team. So it's going to work.
Let me say something. Yeah, so Cranky, and to back up what Kyle said, we are all men, right? And we have different ways of marketing, and as long as we get there, it doesn't matter how we reach there. As long as we all end up there, you know, we can all take a different direction. But one thing I know for sure, all of us intention is to better football in Jamaica and better, you know, whatever we do. But it will be hard for all of us to agree, because like me, I'm very like unorthodox in my promotion of gaming. So I might say something to you and you're gonna say I'm crazy, but when you see what they do, you're like, wow, you know. So like me personally, it would be hard for me to like people to agree with me until they see what I've done.
Let me just second that. Dub is a hard person, but he puts his heart in it. So right. All credit to Mr. Huntley, you know, keep it up. But you know, Cranky, the thing is, you know, you have so many groups with so many ideas, basically. You know, and we all live all across the world practically, you know, much less the USA. So to organize, you know, one entity to basically get something done, to me, it would be laborious. It would be disconnected, kind of. So my thing is, you know, everybody do what they have to do. We communicate, we work together, you know, and we try and just keep moving the product forward. Granted, we will make mistakes, but that's a part of the journey. You know, mistakes, errors, you know, you learn from them and you push forward. But my whole thing is, you know, if we are to do this, we do this without any egos. You know, rising tide rises all ships. And we all want to rise and push this product together.
Kyle, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I've had my hand up for a while.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I have to push back on that. I disagree with you. I am currently one of the Caribbean American leaders on the Kamala Harris campaign. And I'm here to tell you, the only reason she has a chance to win is because there's an umbrella organization saying to everybody else what the goals are, what we're trying to hit, and then everybody in their own space being creative to hit those same goals.
So Jason, let me jump in there. We actually, all of us here, we actually are sitting in a WhatsApp group together.
Right.
This came about as a result of all of us talking. So we do have agreement, and then everyone does their thing, and we all agree on the overall objective. So that is the sort of thing that we've done, and 876 is there along with everybody. So we do have those agreements. But what I would say finally, as the Manning's man has his hand up to, is that Cranky, in 2025, the main project I have is also to consolidate all vloggers, because I think all vloggers should be on one platform. So that's
well, that's
so can I respond? Can I respond?
Hold on, but I haven't finished yet. That was the first part of what I was trying to present. So it's interesting you should say that. Because that's going to be part of what I want at the end. What the other thing I was going to bring up is, I don't know how you guys feel about the success of Team Bickle when it is about getting people to track events in numbers, and instead of recreating the wheel, if there's agreement that Team Bickle does a good job of getting people, like for example the pen relays, which we seem to do, why can't we use some of that same formula for when Jamaica plays wherever in the world Jamaica plays? Once again, a big organized group saying these are the goals that everybody else executed. Somebody saying one person might not feel like driving. Well, I know Team Bickle every year reaches out to me as a media man to make sure people know about the buses that are leaving Atlanta and leaving Miramar and leaving Miami to go to pen relays, so I can tell people. And in no time, those buses are full. So,
Jason, what you just
can I just
let me just get in this real quick. Jason, what you just described from Kamala is exactly what we are doing, right? You remember you say she delegate things to other group and everybody's heading in the same direction. We're just taking different routes.
Yeah, let me just say this, guys. Let me just say this, and I probably will shut up afterwards. Which is I'm only trying to help. If you guys believe that your disparate groups work, that's your prerogative. I'll just say this: I've managed global teams. I think I have an understanding of the things work. As Jason is saying, there's an effective way to run your business, and there are other ways to know your business. You can run it and it works well, Question: what's the most effective way to do so? So, for example, do you have a locational strategy as you go through all of this? Because we talk about physical people on the ground, but we have tools to reach out to people. Is there a locational strategy? Who runs each of the groups in different areas? How do you coordinate as a group, right? If you have disparate directions you're going in, different things, because you want to do your own marketing, you want to run your own group, that's up to you. That's fine. I'm just saying I think a more holistic organization with a strategic way of sort of operating, where you have a group of body, a governance body, as Dennis like to refer to some of these things, some talk about people, a governance body with different directive, different people under them running different things, and it's distributed downwards. So you have a hierarchy organization that allows you to be much more seamless in how you operate. If you believe how you work currently, it's fine, then it's fine.
Well, I'm just suggesting these things as a new person to you guys. Like, I didn't know none of this exists. Like, I'm in media for 30 odd years as a Jamaican man in Georgia and Florida. Media on various platforms. And never heard any of these kind of conversations from anybody. Like I said, Simon recently reached out to me to make sure I have information that I have been sharing over the past couple of years to the audience. But I've been on air for 30 odd years with millions of people who listen to me. That being said, the last thing I'm going to say is suggest, I don't know if there's a possibility or if there's a process for this. Can players, both girls and boys, be available to media in diaspora in between games, leading up to games, to help promote what JFF is doing? Because I can tell you one of the most popular shows I ever did was interviewing one of the reggae girls, actually Bunny Shaw, before Bunny Shaw got to Manchester United, but so what? Manchester City. That's I land right there.
Thanks very much.
Gentlemen, let me just say quickly. So listen, I think we're all saying the same thing. That listen, the Jamaica Football Federation are the body. They've appointed 876 Stream as their media and marketing partner. We, as different fan clubs with different objectives, and remember, we are volunteers. We're volunteering our time, our own resources, our own money, and we have different desires. And like I said, my desire is to go to a game, and I just want to identify similar-minded people like myself. So, if there comes a need when Dennis and Co will sit down and say, guys, listen, I want you all to come under one umbrella, there's absolutely no reason why we're going to object to that. Right now, we're just starting out because the momentum is building. And Kyle, we met through conversation, Huntley, and Dennis brought us all together. That's why we're on this platform. And trust me, we got to stop looking at things. Oh, this is what the political individuals are doing. We are a voluntary fan club for its recreational, for enjoyment, and we're organizing ourselves. And I think we've done a fantastic job so far, and we've only just begun. So give it some time. If there's a need for us to come under one umbrella, I'm absolutely certain Dennis will make that call and say, guys, listen, come together, and I want a single entity that does that. But for now, just support us. Let us support you, and let's just get to the games and enjoy it and build the momentum. That's really all we need to be focusing on right now.
Yeah, Errol, thanks very much there. You have had Mr. Graham waiting for some time. Mr. Graham, on mute. Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, fellas. A lot of my questions have been asked, so I'm just going to jump right into who I am and what my company does. So my name is Gario Graham, Kingston born, went to school in Connecticut for college, and I stayed in the U.S. since. Long story short, my production company, Kingston Made Production, is an experiential marketing agency. I've worked with many brands throughout the U.S., like Amazon Prime for Thursday Night Football, Nike, where I got my career started off. So I'm just here to lend support. So a lot of things that you guys are saying are things I've already done. And I've been dreaming to be a part of a conversation like this. So thank you so much, Simon, for looping me in. And please stay in touch. As far as some of the major tournaments that are hidden in the States and Canada, places that I have a strong base in, I've already been taking notes on this call, which I have several things I could hit. But overall, as far as like hospitality suites, I have a great relationship at SoFi Stadium. So if you're ever playing there again, please reach out. Levi Stadium, which I went and watched Reggae Boyz last year against St. Kitts, I believe it was. I was also there for that, which a large group of people. I have hospitality suites connections there as well. Please reach out. If for the World Cup, MetLife in New York, if that's one of the stadiums in play, please reach out for that. In Miami, it's the same. It goes on and goes on. So I have a relationship at least 15 to 17 stadiums here in the States and
Mr.
arenas.
Graham,
yes,
I need you, okay?
We all need you. Believe me.
I think I need you most. So please,
I would suggest that somebody keeps numbers so that if we need to reach out to anybody, we can solicit. Simon, can you give me Mr. Graham's number? Can you give me his number? Can you give me, such and such number?
So I'm gonna drop my contacts in before I finish up, and then also from like any type of
guys, just send all the contacts to Simon. Simon doesn't need a diary; he just keeps it in his head.
Just WhatsApp me after, no problem. Go ahead.
So for any appropriate team that could use anyone from like to handle like help logistics under one umbrella, because I see that's where a lot of you guys are like going back and forth on a little bit, where it's like who's gonna be what's the overseeing strategy, right? Who's gonna
it's in that WhatsApp group 876. Right.
Perfect. Yeah, I'd love to be a part of any of those conversations just so like I could offer support there. And as far as like getting people to the stadiums, I will definitely love to be a part of that as far as like some of the stadiums that I do have a network in and handling that logistics and even having like a hospitality suite there for us. So I know we're pressed for time, but I could keep going on and I don't want to disrespect anyone else's time. So Simon, I'm going to reach out to you. Yeah, I'm just going to drop my number in real quick for anyone that wants to hit me up immediately after this call.
Right,
but Simon, let's please stay in contact.
Yeah. And as you're abundantly aware, the Nations League finals in March next year will be at SoFi Stadium in
Yeah.
California. So let's
Yeah, man. I've been
to
annoying, Simon. I know I've been annoying to you, but exactly, man. I've seen all those SoFi stops next year, so I'm like, I gotta be there. You know what I mean? I definitely have to be there, and I
Can
have a
you put the
team as
number one
well.
more time, please?
Repeat that.
The number. Can you put it up one more time?
Okay, yeah, it's in the chat. It's
The chat. It's in the chat.
There you go.
Okay, I got it.
Right. Mr. Stennett, you may.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait. Please ignore that. I missed a number 347-268-2310.
That's correct.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Good to be here with you. I think 35 persons. This is good. Good move. Probably should have happened before, but nothing before its time. I just want to just say just a couple of things. One, I want to start with a quote from Edward Deming. He was originally part of Twitter, and he says that a bad system will beat a good person every time. And then believe it is Miles Monroe says that where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. I raise that because it is good that we're seeking to get fans in the stands, which is the beginning of the process. But what the fans do when they get inside the stadium is also very critical where Jamaica's football is concerned. Because fans can be in there and not supporting the team, but they are present. And so from my perspective, I think what the players want is that when the fans come in, they actually support the team when they are in the stands. Being present isn't enough. And what that looks like is very simple. Like even with the national anthem, when it is being played, is that when we are in Central America playing, as an example, the entire stadium sings the national anthem of Honduras or Nicaragua or Guatemala. So we have to create a culture of not just turning up, but actually giving support during the game for the team. The band, very good. They make some noise and stuff, get people in the vibe. But it cannot just be beating the drum when the team is attacking you and not crying out defense. Because then you're probably beating the drum for them to go and score against your team. So what is the purpose of the drumming? If when the team scores against you, they are beating the drums. Like
I think, but mine's man, to be fair, I really think that the bands have added us a very welcome dimension to what's happening.
Yeah, and I'm not ignoring that, but while they do that, and I say that there's a vibe that you get when the music is playing, there must also be support for the team itself in different moments of the game.
But Mr. Stennett,
right?
All right, so Mr. Stennett.
Let me just finish. Let me finish, and then I just need 30 seconds more, and then you can rebut it, right? So, again, let's begin with this. When we come in and the national anthem, I think if the 200 tickets that you have for the national stadium, that those 200 persons, because you're getting them the ticket, one of the charges should be when the anthem is about to be played, we want all of you to be singing the national anthem. And because all of us are going to be in one area to create that kind of an atmosphere. That's all I'm saying. The band, there must be strategic moments in the game. I remember when I was, as a kid, going into the National Stadium before 1998, like in 95, early 95 and in 96. When there was a corner, you would hear goal, 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 goal. You understand me? That kind of a thing. We don't have that anymore. So all I'm saying is that it is the starting point, getting the stadium packed. The second step must be, what do we do with the people in a packed stadium when the team is playing? All right?
Mr. Stennett,
and I'll leave it.
Look at the logistics of this, right? So you are literally asking the band to keep the drumstick in the hand, watch the game, and as soon as Jamaica start to attack, play. As Jamaica stop attack, stop play. It's not realistic, Mr. Stennett.
You're missing the point. I think you have missed the point. So the drumming must be strategic.
I agree. And can I just jump in real quick?
That's all I'm saying. If that's
I have instructed my band leader to do as such. Okay, let me just say that. To the point now where I have instructed him to basically blow the horns for the national stadium. They can do that. Okay, to sing out the national stadium. I have instructed them to beat the drum when we have a corner, when we score a goal, and when we are defending. You know, like you said, management, it needs to be more synchronized, and they are working on it. So it can be done.
Well, I respectfully, to be, so this is me, I cannot go along to get along. I respectfully disagree with you totally, and I'm going to show you why. Okay, so when I watch other game in other country, like last night I was watching a game between Columbus Crew and Red Bull, and the Columbus, the drum play hard through the 90 minutes until the penalty, right? So what you're saying, I just think that we are looking for a problem to a solution, in my honest opinion. I don't see it as a big deal. And
So guys, I don't think that we should even be
talking about that.
Yeah, because the truth is that I think that the variety is what brings everything together to make a product.
Right. I think we have bigger things we can talk about.
What I'm excited about is that everybody is talking about, what are possible solutions, and we need to keep them going. Let us understand that what we're aiming to do is be better than yesterday, right? And I think that where we are, this initiative of everyone coming together, I was very heartened when Errol and Huntley and Kyle come and say, listen, we want to do this, because 6 months ago we did not have this sort of support coming together and say, we want to do this, so I think that's important. What I think certainly from the media side is, highlight this, and let people know what is happening in terms of the initiative is not from the JFF. This initiative, to be fair, 876, Errol, Huntley, and Kyle, they came to us and said, listen, this is what we want to do. And that's what I want. Everybody who knows me knows that I don't tell people what to do. I try to use them to realize the potential that they have. And I think that this is a great opportunity that we're seeing, and we need to, I'm not even going to say support something that you don't believe in, but just report on what is happening, so that we can get the word out there and get the excitement out there. As I said last time, we had over 17,000. We're ahead of where we are in terms of sales so far to date, right? And we see the interest coming from corporate Jamaica too. So, that's what I would say. Let's. I mean, I think management made some good points, and certainly he is sitting on the bench, so he sees a lot of things and hears a lot of things that we don't hear, and we need to take that perspective too. But I think the variety is the spice. I mean, I think Cranky made some good observations too, and I think that what I'm happy about is that where we were 2 months ago, this is much better than where we were 2 months ago. And in another 2 months or in another 2 weeks when we get to the game, we're going to be much better too, based on some of the discussions that have been taking place in the supporter WhatsApp group that has been formed. So
can I make one comment? Management raised a point, which I'm not sure we've totally digest. Dennis said we have 17,000 people in the stadium. Do the players feel the support of the 17,000 people? That's the question. You could have 17,000 people and there's 17,000 critics, and you're on the field saying, we should just go home. Right? So the question is, do they feel the support of the 17,000 people when they're playing, or is the noise distributed and people are just complaining because they haven't scored? Is that support as... Because when you play away from home, you're supposed to feel the pressure of the crowd, even as much as you feel the opponent's pressure. Right. So are the players, because the players ask for the crowd to be there, are they feeling the support? That's the question.
So, Cranky, let me take your question real quick. All right, Cranky, you see people shouting, it's a natural human being behavior, right? And if you force people to shout or make them say and shout when they naturally don't want to do so, it can become off like too pushy. So this is what I think. We should just gradually create a culture where if you're not shouting, you're not the norm. And over time, I have no doubt it will happen, because I have some things in mind that you will see at the next game where it is just gonna let people shout even when they don't want to. So
but sir, aren't you saying what we're saying now? That you're going to get the people to start shouting at a strategic point? That's all we were saying.
No. What I'm saying, so what I'm saying to you, right? So basically, Instead of like,
yeah, man. So let's move on because I think you just said what we have been saying.
yeah. No, what I'm saying, instead of forcing them to just put them in a position where they would like to.
No, man. All I'm saying that we can move on because nobody said force. So yeah, that's what we're saying.
Mr. Chung, there's one other thing as well. I don't know if it's something that can be implemented now or anytime soon. I've heard a lot of persons saying that they don't feel the love and affection from the Adidas branding itself. So Jamaicans, they love the jersey. Everywhere I wear my jerseys, you always hear persons give a compliment and they say, "Yo, the jersey is awesome," and such and such. But most persons feel as if they don't have that connection to the Adidas branding. The jerseys are for sale, but it's not readily available in Jamaica. You can't just walk into a store and just have it like that. So I'm not sure if any conversations has been had with Adidas in that regard to say that, hey, on a match day, you can have something in the stadium, an Adidas tents. Persons can come in and purchase jerseys.
Yeah, so Shavan, that is something that we are doing. It's something we've been talking about, but the truth is that what has restricted us is that our contract does not allow us to sell. So we have to get that amendment to the contract. But those discussions, you're right. We have had those discussions and we're trying to see how we can solve it.
Is it possible, Mr. Chung, that the federation, in terms of, so if the jerseys are for $100, if the JFF could buy like people who want come in and say they want the jerseys or pay for them, and then the JFF buys them and sell them at a profit, is that possible?
That is what we're trying. That is the discussion that we're having, trying to do.
Okay.
And we know the jerseys are in demand because Western Sports, as soon as they get them, they go.
So Dennis, do we have numbers on how much sales Adidas is getting from selling Jamaica Reggae Boyz merchandise?
We have numbers, and but we can't reveal it. But we do have numbers because it's obviously confidential. But
Right.
what we can say is that the Jamaica kit is the #1 selling kit for Adidas.
I am not surprised. My question has an inherent question in it, which is, are we maximize the revenues we can generate from Adidas? I know you may not want to tell us that, but
the contract actually states what we get as a percentage.
And when does the contract expire?
2026.
So we got to think about going forward if this is what we want to do going forward. We have to find ways. I am tired of the Caribbean being monopolized and the Caribbean being taken advantage of by international corporations. I actually think that's a problem.
Well, I mean, they do that all over, but
I know, but we got to think about ways to get rid of.
Yeah, man. We've considered all that already, Cranky. I know you're a business person, so you're thinking the same way. So all of those things have been considered, but once we keep the momentum going, then we're going to have a stronger position. When this contract was entered into with them, we weren't in a strong position.
Yeah.
We're in a much stronger position now. So
okay.
Yeah. CC Sports Lab, go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. My question surrounds the thing about support, right? For example, I don't know how like the Jamaica jersey color would have, or the color scheme would have come about. But for example, like chants or even an anthem that supports the national team. Is it that there would be like
Lee, where is Lee?
Oh, so is there something where there could have been an application sent out from JFF to say submit like songs or submit certain songs, and then they take a judgment on a song to be like played throughout when the game is in halftime or before the game, and something that is authorized by JFF to support the team, where people can resonate. It's something that some people can resonate to, as opposed to like persons have done songs enough. But the thing about it is submission of the song. Because I think, like for example, in Brazil, how they claim about their color scheme for their jersey, I think there was a submission, and then persons made application, and then they came up with the color scheme for the jersey, but it came from the people. So like the music that supports the team comes from the people and is of the people. Therefore, the people resonate with it to increase the support in the stadium, or increase the chant in the stadium. Yeah, that was my question.
Yep. Any other supporters group wanted to comment on what CC said?
You know, I was listening in, but can CC, can you probably tell me what you said in like one
I'm
sentence?
saying about authorization of a song. Like,
Oh, so that is a
10,
question for the
10
JFF. That I can't answer that question.
yeah, for the JFF, I'm saying authorize it. It's like people, like for example, when Russian did have him rhythm and persons were doing song. But you know, once Russian come and authorize the song and say, oh, this song, the on his rhythm, or for example, you'd have rise up long time. But I'm saying in this current 2024 environment, people want to resonate with something, a theme, a song, something that says Jamaica 2026 World Cup and beyond.
So right, is this people or is this your idea?
This is not. All right. I am talking about fans.
In general, though.
In general.
I mean, I understand what CC is saying. So basically, what he wants is a theme song for the Reggae Boyz, Reggae Girls campaign. Basically, that is it. How do we go about getting that done?
Right, that's what he's like. Okay.
Right, you know.
Because I'm saying, Kyle, sorry, persons have done songs, you know. But my thing is that, say, for example, you put out something and say, all right, submit the songs X, and, you know, different songs play, and these are the songs, this is the song that we are supporting. They can do a survey, how much persons are resonating to this song.
Right.
So the moment that this song plays, people identify it with the team.
So I would suggest what the JFF should do is basically market that as to see who would like to have a designated song for the Reggae Boyz, Reggae Girls campaign. Basically find a sponsor, somebody to basically get that done.
You know what they can do to get some free marketing out of it? You see, like when you have festival song, they should
exactly
delegate it to somebody and like people just put up song and then the JFF will get some free publicity in Jamaica from that.
Right, find a company and let them sponsor it. Done.
Yeah, finish.
Simple. There you go. Excellent marketing plan. But let me just say, gentlemen, I'm about to leave, but I would like to make my pitch again. We need a vlogger tent in the stadium so we can connect the diaspora. We can market merchandise.
So Kyle, I've spoken to Yuan, and we can have that vlogger tent, right, Yuan?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, and it's good talking to all of you. Nice meeting everybody.
Before you go, Kyle, just for all of you, does this apply to the two friendly games that the Reggae Girls are playing? And does this apply to the under-17? Do we keep this, or is just centered around the national team? The under-17 has World Cup qualifiers coming up. The girls have two friendly games in Montego Bay.
Manningsman, I think, let me take that question, Manningsman.
Let me just finish. Go.
Hold on. Let Mannings finish. Go on. Go, Mannings.
No, man, he's all right. He can respond.
Yeah, so Manningsman, all right. So all right. So you know the money, it's people donate, right? So naturally people are more likely to donate towards the senior team because they are motivated by it. But I don't think the same thing that can be done at the senior team can be done at the other games. But something can be done, but I don't think people will just naturally.
I don't think, to be fair, Dub, I don't think we should rule it out, because I think what management is just wants to have a spread of the support, because you don't want one particular team being feel left out, saying that, hey, you're only supporting this team or that team. So I'd recommend trying it out first. The Reggae Girls, they would get support.
Yeah,
persons who would.
Remember, I'm the person that actually most of the donation, and when it's
sorry guys, just to add, for the Reggae Girls game, not to mention the under-17s, because in some instances we would have tweaked the type of promotional elements that would be in stadium or managed as a result of age difference, etc., and how we actually utilize some of our sponsors and partners. But for the Reggae Girls game, I can assure you that for the Reggae Girls game coming up in November, the entertainment package that would have been at the Reggae Boyz game will be transferred to the Reggae Girls game at Captain. So we're in the process of coordinating DJs, sound, entertainment, coordinating with sponsors for whatever halftime it can be done, and looking at building out a proper entertainment package for the Reggae Girls game in November.
Conrad, next thing we must look into, right? So
Yuan.
Sorry, Yuan. Sponsor, right? You have to give them something for them to give you something, right? So if you go to them and tell them the Reggae Boyz game, 20,000 people, they'll give you something, more than likely. If you go to them and tell them the Reggae Girls game, 3,000 people, 4,000 people, it's a harder sell.
But question though, isn't it?
Financially, if you look at it from that standpoint, what you probably would have missed is that the Reggae Girls has, I dare say, a higher love and affection from a lot of corporate Jamaica, just out of the fact that they love Reggae Girls, with a little of bias. They appreciate and love and support the Reggae Boyz as well, but their heartstring is thumbed down a little more once it's a Reggae. So what we're looking for is to ensure that not just for scale of numbers, but we're just looking to make sure that the package and value is still resonating with brands who still have strong love and affinity for the Reggae Girls. So we're having a conversation with those brands currently.
Makes sense. So basically, you're saying try to sell this Reggae Girl as more like a Cinderella story. That probably could work.
If you guys are interested, I have a Jamaican-run Miami-based company that would be interested in sponsoring any of these things that you just brought up.
Absolutely, thank you.
But question though, isn't the vloggers thing to increase like coverage and interactions? So if you have a vloggers thing at the girls game, just like at the boys game, there's more news being carried about the girls and more information being relayed to the people. So the same persons who are going to attend the games, they're getting more information and feeling more connected to the team. So this match you might have 3,000 based on the information that has gone out. And you know, some of the vloggers will vlog every day from Reggae Boyz, Reggae Boyz, Reggae Boyz. So imagine vlogging every day on Reggae Boyz, I have persons vlogging every day on Reggae Girls. It could increase the number of persons attending the games, because I know some of the persons attend the games because they have become familiar with the team through some of these entities covering the game, the players. So I feel like the vlogger thing is supposed to be an interaction or a connectivity and something that can spread the information to the wider diaspora and Jamaicans locally.
Yeah, I'm in full agreement with that.
Errol, your hand is raised. What as well?
Yeah, thank you. Listen, this is a wonderful conversation, and I think we all must admit that this is new and this is amazing. And credit to Dennis and Simon and the team for arranging this, facilitating it, because we've never had this before, and this only bodes well for the future in terms of going forward. You know, great ideas. You know, when we talked about the Adidas shirt, we've spoken to Adidas themselves, and we're talking with the Jamaica Football Federation in terms of getting access to the shirts for the US market. So you know, guys, listen. Listen. This is so positive. This is positive, but let's also recognize the good work that's been done, because we are so great at criticizing when nothing is done. This is leaps in terms of, like I said, I went to all the games with Captain Burrell when they came to England. I was literally up and down with them, and he was not accessible. He never took advice or instructions. For this administration to be opening themselves up to criticism and advice and discussions is an amazing way forward, and we just have to respect that, support that, continue building. We're all Jamaicans, regardless of where we are in the world, and this is kind of get this support going. Because one of the reasons why we called our thing the Reggae Football Fans, because we just didn't want to support the Reggae Boyz on their own. I've been to the World Cup in France for the women's World Cup game. I've been, to the previous World Cup '98 in France, when the men's were there, and they're under 70 play. I travel around the world, following all the teams. So, and would love for the media to work with us because, Anthony will tell you, we're having to push the information ourselves. We're not getting as much support when we try. I've invested in a media company just so that I can create noise and get information out. So if any of you guys can help us to spread the word, please just get our details from Simon, and we will gladly do whatever we can to work with you to build this. Because at the end of the day, the team benefits, the country benefits, and we all benefit. So I've got a flight to catch. So Simon, Dennis, thank you so much. It's been wonderful. Huntley, you and I will continue speaking. And if anybody wants to reach out to me, get my details from Simon and Dennis, I'm happy to talk to anybody because I'm in New York and this is all I do. So I know it's a plan.
See you flight, okay?
Yeah, man. Thanks a lot, Errol.
We're going to wrap up in a few minutes, but a final remark from Jordan. Jordan unmute, and then we'll close with Jordan. All right? Go ahead, Jordan.
All right, good day, everyone. Jordan from Knockins. I have two things I want to speak about. One, about the ticket giveaways, and second, the chance. As it relates to the ticket giveaways, when I look in the stadium, we did well the last match that we had was really well, but we still had empty seats. My suggestion is that I think we could do more as it relates to the ticket giveaways. I think we can give away more tickets so that we can encourage, especially the youths, to come to the matches. So I don't know if we can give away some more tickets as it relates to the schools mostly involved. We'll give away to the school youths, even if it's school IDs. They can come with school IDs and get a lower cost for the tickets. I think that would be important. And also, as it relates to the chance, CC touched on something about submission. I think that if we could get a couple people to submit a couple chants and we approve some, we'll post them on the JFF page as a small lyric video so people can be aware so that when they're in the stadium, they're not like, don't know what to say, we'll have things organized. We'll have 5-second chants where even if we're just shouting Kaim Dixon, Leon Bailey, you get me, with some small jingles, I think it would go a far way in people resonating with the team and also bring back that culture we have for football. Because I think that the football culture is dying in Jamaica.
All right, Jordan, thank you very much for your remarks. And thank you very much, everybody, for being here this afternoon. Oh, it's greatly appreciated. What is it that unites every single one of us here? We're all Jamaicans, we love football, and we want the best of our country. Thanks very much, everybody. Members of the media, we're going to send this up shortly. So you can proceed.
Simon,
Yes, Mr. Smith.
Sorry to cut you. And Mr. Chung, what I'd love is, and Mr. Chung can help with this because I've spoken to people that got invited and their cars were broken into. But I think there should be some sort of, between now and the next game, some sort of explanation in terms of security for vehicles, radio park, how they will be secured. So persons who saw those videos would not be as afraid to drive and park at the stadium. So I think that there needs to be some sort of press release and continuous dialogue where security of motor vehicles are concerned, given what happened the last time. So I don't know if that is part of the marketing plan from 876 Stream and Mr. Chung. But I think it needs to be out there in the media so everyone can know. Listen, don't park your cars in these areas, or we have increased security. Police will be there. Make sure you get that tag.
So man is man. What we have done, that is going to come out. So the IPL, the police, and JFF have met. And they are designating some places where police will protect the vehicles, right? That is what's being done because our intelligence is that the destruction of the vehicles was a direct sabotage, right?
Whoa.
That's the intelligence that has come back to us. That is a direct sabotage that was done. So we're going to designate certain places and we're going to tell the public where it is safe to park because that it wasn't on the stadium compound, but we will ensure that there are places outside the stadium compound that we're going to designate and put police there to protect because our event, and even though, if you park on the road, it's not us, we think it's our responsibility still to ensure that people feel safe when they get there. And what we've done also, someone spoke about the traffic, is that we've engaged with the head of traffic, and he, as you see from the last game, it was much smoother. Things are being put in place to ensure that the traffic flows a lot smoother.
Mr. Chung, this might be a wide, but it's something that I may consider. The parking lot that's close to where the team base is, right? The NEC parking lot. I'm not sure if fans could utilize that parking space and probably use JUTC buses to bus them to the stadium.
Yeah, man, we thought about that also, and that is an option that we're looking at also.
Okay,
So
okay.
we're putting a lot of thought into what can happen. Of course, I forget the partnership, the JFF, the JUTC, and so, but those are things that we're discussing.
Okay, all right, no problem.
Yeah, man.
Thank you very much, Manningsman, Chavan, Mr. Chung. Everybody, thank you very much for your present this afternoon. Members of the media will send this out quite shortly so they can use editorially for your stories. Very enlightening discussion. A gentle reminder, Friday, 11 o'clock, we'll have the squad announcement press conference for the Nations League. Thank you very much, everybody, and stay safe with the impending storm.
Yeah, thanks, everyone. Yeah, remember, everyone in Jamaica, the storm is coming. A lot of rain is going to come with it. So, keep safe.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yeah.